Hello folks, unfortunately my tyre is screwed, and that is to say it's got a screw that's gone through it. I don't care how good your tyres are, in this case a screw's gone through it, and that can happen to any tyre. These are great tyres, but they won't hold up to a nice pointy screw. So I'm going to have to get the tyre off, and for the first time ever I get to use my tyre repair kit. Okay, first things first, I'm just going to chock the wheels and get your brake on. Let's jack it up. Something that's happened here since my last service. The guys that did the service have used a rattle gun on the wheel nuts, and they're a little out of shape, so I can't quite get the regular 19mm socket on there. It'll work, but it takes a bit of jamming on. So to make sure I can get the wheel nuts out of the socket, I'm just going to spray some lanolin on there to make removal of the wheel nuts a little easier, after they're probably going to end up a little jammed inside this socket. Now, because the guys have used a rattle gun to get the nuts on, I was going to use just a ratchet to remove them, but we're going to have to go for the actual, in this case, factory tyre iron. Now before I jack the car off the ground completely, I'm going to loosen the wheel nuts. So there's still a bit of grip on the bottom of the tyre there, so when I turn the handle, the whole wheel doesn't go around. There you go. So yeah, didn't want to break the ratchet. The tyre iron's doing the job. But it has alerted me to another little issue, and that is, because I'm going bush in a little while, I want to know that I can get all my wheel nuts off in case I have to change a tyre in the bush. So before I go away, I may not do it right now because we're losing the light. Before I go away, I'm going to make sure I can get every wheel nut off all around the car before I end up in the bush and can't get these off when the time really counts. When you're taking off a tyre, you do this nut, for example, then you move on to the opposite nut. Now when taking the wheel off, I've only raised the car enough to just clear the tyre off the ground, just a little bit. It doesn't have to go very high. In fact, usually the less height you get off the ground here, the easier it makes to get the tyre on and off. Right, there's the problem. Right, now before I get this all the way out, I'm going to break out the nail polish again. You might recall in other videos I've pointed out that nail polish can be actually kind of handy. What I'm going to do here is mark the spot where the hole is, because once this screw comes out, it won't be quite so obvious where the problem lies. I don't care how good your tyres are, a screw like that is going to go through it. Now let's play with this tyre kit for the first time. I've got my reamer. I've heard some people say you don't need to ream the hole, but we'll give it a go. Plenty of lube. Let's see if we can get that in there for a start. Not a problem. I'm going to lube everything up again. Get spaghetti in the plunger. It's not that easy. We'll make it. We'll get there. I've seen this done, In fact, back in my army days, this was done all the time on ASLAVs. Those things had tyres that looked like echidnas. There you go, that's about halfway along. Now for the moment of truth. Okay. I think that's in. Now, theoretically, I just pull it out. Alright, apparently that's plugged. So it says TJM kit supplies you with a little knife to trim up the excess. Right, one thing I like to do with this type of compressor, by the way, because this gets super hot, this connection here on the start of the hose, I've got a damp, not dripping, just damp rag. And you wrap it around the hose, around the connection a bit, just to take a bit of the heat away. Which means when you go to grab it later on, it won't just burn your hands. Right, let's see if it holds some air. Alright, seems alright so far, but let's have a look at what my brand new gauge tells me. 37.5 pounds, we'll leave it at that I reckon. And have a listen. Not hearing anything, so I guess that's a good sign. So we'll leave this overnight and therefore hopefully I've plugged my first tyre. Well, there you go. After 5 tough days in the bush, this is holding up pretty well. In fact, let me wake up my gauge, and it is 35.5, doing quite well. So it's a successful plug.